You've learned in theory what it means to be a nurse, and now you're going to be able to provide nursing care at the bedside and in the community. You'll be applying what we call the science and art of nursing. Today, I will focus on the art of nursing through compassionate care. The dictionary definition of compassionate is as follows, quote, sympathetic consciousness of others, distress together with a desire to alleviate it. So when I asked the majority of my 5 children to define compassionate care, these were the following comments. Compassion is when you put yourself in the place of the person who's in need of help and take action to make it better. It's not just sympathy. Compassion is when you feel empathetic toward your patient. You meet them where they are and then do something that will help them be independent. That was my then 21-year-old who was a political science major. Compassionate care is when you notice the gentleman who's been wearing the same pair of socks for a week in rehab, and you ask him if he wants a fresh pair of socks. That's my daughter who's an occupational therapist. Compassionate is when you're walking around in someone else's shoes so you can help them. That's my daughter who's a nurse. Compassion is gentle, kind, sympathetic. Compassionate care is when you take the time to engage in your patient. It's the little things you do. That's my son, who's a lawyer. I chose not to interview my oldest son because he's a financial advisor, and sometimes his mood is not as great depending on what's happening in the stock market. So for my small survey, I was able to get the sense that compassionate care can have slightly different meanings, but consistent is the notion that compassion is a sentiment that serves as a catalyst, that fuels action, a caring action. Compassionate care is the core element of nursing. In fact, compassion is so essential to nursing that the very first provision of the updated ANA Code of Ethics states, quote, the nurse practices with compassion and respect for the inherent dignity, worth, and unique attributes of every person, unquote. So what does compassionate care look like? Who's ever spent time in the hospital or knows someone who has? I can tell you from my personal experience as a patient with 2 back surgeries. I recall that most of the nurses would glide in and they'd ask me what my pain level was on a scale of 1 to 10. And sometimes I would say it would be 5.765. And honestly, it was not the best experience. They'd hand me my medications and glide back out the door. It was almost like drive-through meds. But there was one nurse, one very special nurse, who was a seasoned nurse who came into the room, pulled up the chair, put her hand on my hand and asked, "How are you?" I had not heard those words that had sounded like that. I almost wanted to say, "Hey, wait, are you actually talking to me? And oh, are you actually willing to touch me?" I was so grateful for her compassionate care that day. Why? Because she recognized that I was in need of support. She took the time. She spoke to me, not at me. Her eye contact was reassuring, and most importantly, she was present. Just being there was a comfort. One of the most beautiful examples of compassionate care was given to me by one of my favorite friends who's a clinical nurse specialist who specializes in the geriatric population. There was a 90-year-old man who was admitted to the hospital following a fall. The next day, my friend, who was their care manager, received a call from his wife who said she was too sick to come. As it turned out, she was also admitted to the hospital for pneumonia the next day and placed on the same floor, but in a different wing as her husband. The husband desperately wanted to see his beloved wife of 65 years. So they had never been separated before, but he was too weak to see her, even though he was in a wheelchair. So my very creative friend decided she would resolve the issue and try to resolve it. And she went down to the emergency room and she asked for a stretcher. At first, the nurses in the ER were resistant to give her a stretcher, but when she explained what the reason was, they allowed her to bring that stretcher. And so what she did is she put the husband on the stretcher and brought him to his wife so they would be at the same level so they could hold hands. When they raised the bed, my friend knew this was going to be the goodbye. And so she allowed the two of them to be alone together, and his last moment and her last moment shortly thereafter. That's a true sign of compassionate care. I have the privilege of watching my nursing students in public health. They deliver amazing, compassionate care as they listen to stories told by women at shelters that serve women experiencing homelessness. Being present to listen to clients who often thank the students for caring and just being there, for listening when no one else does. These are just a few examples of compassionate care. It's a manifestation of the art of nursing. Walk around in your patient's shoes, empathize with them, and most of all, act on it so you may help patients maintain their independence and their dignity. See the human being in front of you. I'd like to add that while you're practicing compassion, you need to practice self-compassion. You probably have heard people say, how can you take care of yourself if you don't take care of, how can you take care of others if you can't take care of yourself? Most of us choose nursing because we want to nurture and care for others. And many of us in this profession ignore our own self-care and fail to engage in self-compassion. Kristen Neff, a renowned expert in self-compassion and professor right here at the University of Texas at Austin, defines self-compassion as, quote, a self-attitude that involves treating oneself with warmth and understanding in difficult times and recognizing that making mistakes is part of being human, unquote. She goes on to say that being self-compassionate is treating yourself in the same way you would treat a good friend when you're having hard times. It's kind of like giving yourself a hug. You fail or you notice something that you don't like about yourself by being supportive and loving, right? Love yourself. So remember, while you're busy making a difference in your patients' lives, that I undoubtedly know you will, please take time to mindfully shower yourself with self-compassion and know that you're not supposed to be perfect. Florence Nightingale, the Lady of the Land, was the embodiment of compassion and our role model for compassionate care through her. She was named the Lady of the Lamp because of her reputation of carrying the lamp in the darkness to attend to the suffering soldiers in the Crimean War. The lamp symbolizes the light that we bring as nurses to our suffering patients at the bedside and community. This light is the hope we give to patients through compassionate care. Remember to embrace that privilege that we have as nurses to make a difference. Now more than ever, I ask you to continue to carry the lamp and be the light in the darkness. Today marks a celebration into your opportunity to become one of the countless nurses who are passionate about compassionate care. Go forth and carry the lamp proudly. I'm going to leave you with a poem The poem, What Do You See, Nurse? What do you see, nurse? What do you see? What are you thinking when you're looking at me? A crabby old woman, not very wise, uncertain of habit, with faraway eyes, who dribbles her food and makes no reply when you say in a loud voice, I do wish you'd try, who seems not to notice the things that you do, and forever is losing a stocking or shoe, who resisting or not lets you do as you will, with bathing and feeding the long day to fill. Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you see? Then open your eyes, nurse. You're not looking at me. I'll tell you who I am as I sit here so still, as I do at your bidding, as I eat at your will. I'm a small child of 10, with a father and a mother, brothers and sisters who love one another. A young girl of 16 with wings on her feet, dreaming that soon now a lover she'll meet. A bride soon at 20, my heart gives a leap, remembering the vows that I promised to keep. At 25 now, I have young of my own who need me to guide a secure, happy home. A woman of 30, my young now grown fast, bound to each other with ties that should last. At 40, my young sons have grown and are gone, but my man's beside me to see I don't mourn. At 50 once more, babies play round my knee. Again we know children, my loved one and me. Dark days are upon me, my husband is dead. I look to the future, I shudder with dread. For my young are all rearing young of their own, and I think of the years and the love that I've known. I'm now an old woman, and nature is cruel. 'Tis just to make old age look like a fool. The body, it crumbles, grace and vigor depart. There's now a stone where once had a heart, but inside this old carcass a young girl still dwells, and now and again my battered heart swells. I remember the joys, I remember the pain, and I'm loving and living life over again. I think of the years, all too few, gone too fast, and accept the stark fact that nothing can last. So open your eyes, nurse, open and see. Not a crabby old woman. Look closer, see me. Thank you very much. This was a poem that was anonymous, and it was from Ireland, from a nursing home in Ireland. Thank you very much.